Welcome to the NTN Nightly. I'm Nisha Charles. This edition's top stories. Saint Lucia continues to take an aggressive approach to managing the threat of the 2019 coronavirus. The Ministry of Education mobilizes resources to build capacity of teachers with open education resources, and Saint Lucian artists are highlighted in a new publication. Health ministers from across the region held an emergency meeting on Monday to discuss issues related to the 2019 coronavirus, which the World Health Organization, the WHO, has now classified as a public health emergency of international concern. The meeting of the CARICOM Council for Human and Social Development Health was also attended by other senior health and security officials who will provide updates on regional plans. According to the WHO, the number of confirmed cases of the coronavirus worldwide is now 14,557, most of which are in China, and the death toll has risen to at least 304. On February 1, a 44-year-old man in the Philippines died of the virus, making him the first reported death outside of China. The coronavirus outbreak, which originated in Wuhan City, China, began in December of 2019. The Trinidad-based Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, says while there has been no confirmed cases of the virus within the region, it is monitoring developments and working closely with its international health partners to respond to the threat. In the event that there is a suspected imported case in the region, CARPHA says it has already made arrangements with partner public health agencies for testing within the next 3 weeks while it awaits delivery of necessary supplies. Meantime, Saint Lucia continues to take an aggressive approach to ensure coordinated response to managing the threat of the coronavirus.
Senior officials from various government ministries were granted the opportunity to make a valuable contribution towards the country's level of preparedness for the threat of the coronavirus as the National Health Security Committee held a meeting recently. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belma-George says such a meeting is important as it allowed the Department of Health to engage its stakeholders in the action to deal with the threat of the coronavirus.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness made a presentation and gave an update on the coronavirus disease, and we discussed a number of recommendations moving forward in the coordination. This was done to ensure a multi-sectoral approach in the coordination. We were able to share our plan thus far, indicate what we have accomplished and also where the gaps are to strengthen our measures to this possible threat.
Cabinet Secretary Benjamin Emmanuel says the National Health Security Committee meeting demonstrates the coordinated efforts of its members to shape and formulate a response to the threat of the coronavirus.
So what we expect is that the committee will continue to formulate the plans. Over the next few days, we will be engaged in terms of public dissemination of the information, the public awareness, and ensuring that at all levels in the society, we are ready and prepared to ensure St. Lucia's response and, of course, protection to the unfolding situation.
The Department of Health and Wellness remains committed to managing the threat of the coronavirus and will continue conducting education and sensitization sessions with its stakeholders. Reporting from the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, I am Fernal Neptune.
On Saturday, February 1, 2020, the Department of Health and Wellness, in collaboration with stakeholders, made the decision to deny entry into St. Lucia's ports a cruise ship after reviewing the ship's health declaration. According to Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belma-George, the declaration indicated that over 100 passengers had upper respiratory tract infections over a period of 4 days.
In consultation with our team and ensuring that the necessary guidelines and protocols were followed and that the necessary assessment was carried out and humanitarian support granted, such a decision was communicated to the relevant agencies. I would also like to indicate that none of the passengers were allowed off the ship and into Saint Lucia. When the ship arrived, we were aware that there were upper respiratory tract infections, but we have no indication of what the cause of those infections are to make any link to coronavirus or any other virus. We did not have any confirmed testing to indicate what the cause of the infection was.
The Department of Health and Wellness will continue to work in partnership with the cruise line and the tourism sector to strengthen the mutually beneficial relations that exist. The Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development, in partnership with the Commonwealth of Learning, the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation and UNESCO, hosted a 4-day workshop on building capacity for the use of open education resources in the classroom. The move will help to reduce on the cost of textbooks and material and the improvement in the capacity of teachers. Open educational resources, OERs, are teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium, digital or otherwise, that reside in the public domain or have been released under an open license that permits no-cost access, use, adaptation, and redistribution by others with no or limited restrictions. OER has increasingly been recognized by the international community as an innovative tool for meeting the challenges of providing lifelong learning opportunities for learners from diverse levels and modes of education worldwide. With the help of UNESCO and the Commonwealth of Learning, the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development is seeking to develop its policies surrounding the use of OER. Curriculum Specialist for Technology Integration, Jermaine Anthony, says Saint Lucia is a strong proponent of OER.
And what OER will mean for us is really the reduction of cost in textbook materials and content, but more importantly, the improvement in the capacity of our teachers. We want them to become curators of content, authors of content, contributors to content, but also in so doing they would become better aware of pedagogical practice, how the content that they're using is impacting the students, how they learn. And one of the key themes that keeps repeating itself in the last few days and is going to continue is the concept of inclusivity, because we really have to cater to the underserved areas or population in our schools. And I'm talking about some of the boys who are dropping out. I'm also talking about the special needs students and some of the students who do not have English as a first language.
The William and Flora Hewlett Foundation has supported the efforts of UNESCO to create a widely agreed definition of open education resources. Dr. Kent McGuire is the foundation's Director of Education.
Well, what we believe in first is the idea of open educational resources, that knowledge and information should be free and widely accessible by people around the world. And so an organization like UNESCO, which has over 190 member nations, is a good way to advance that idea, particularly the extent to which it helps countries where bringing down the cost of knowledge and information in the form of books, curriculum, and other instructional materials should make education more accessible as a way of upward mobility.
UNESCO presented its recommendations to the working group and will help to guide Saint Lucia to implement them.
The first one is on capacity building, so knowing how to use, find, reuse open educational resources. The second one is on policy, so what kinds of policies support open educational resources and how can they be best developed and made in a manner which is the most effective. The third is on inclusive education, so education for persons with disabilities and ensuring that the resources are accessible, quality assurance of open educational resources, multilingualism, ensuring that they're in all languages, including non-English languages. And the fourth area is on sustainability, so business models. How can open educational resources be used in a manner which is sustainable financially?
The workshop was organized by the Commonwealth of Learning, which seeks to bring education and training to all Commonwealth member states through the use of technology.
Education is very expensive because of textbooks and so on. But if we have open educational resources, which means you have access to the wealth of knowledge around the world on the internet, and it's free if it's an OER because it's opened under a free license. If we can harness the best content that the world has thought and said and bring them as textbooks or as free content for our students, we are able to actually cut the costs, increase the quality, increase access to people.
The workshop was held from January 27 to 30, 2020. And this is the NTN Nightly. We'll be back in a moment.
Strides of Unity is here again. Are you ready? This February 9 from 6 a.m. starting at the Governor General's residence. Join in as we walk, run, race, skate and cycle around Saint Lucia against all issues affecting us as a nation. Be sure to come out in support when the teams pass through your community to cheer them on. Wear your national colors to support the youth at the Strides of Unity. Now is the time. Let's do this together.
Welcome back. The School of Art and Design has launched a publication as part of Saint Lucia's 41st Independence celebrations. Inspiration to Creation features Saint Lucian women who have contributed meaningfully to arts and design in Saint Lucia. Anise Antoine reports.
In commemoration of Saint Lucia's 41st Independence anniversary, the publication From Inspiration to Creation, Saint Lucian Women Sustaining Lives and Livelihoods Through the Arts has been launched. The book features and celebrates 40 Saint Lucian women artists who exemplify excellence in the arts, including entrepreneurs, arts educators, and advocates for the arts. Sigma Greaves Francis, author of the book From Inspiration to Creation and founder of the School of Art and Design, explained her hopes for persons reading the publication.
I tried to bring out some of their stories. Crystal, who also wrote most of the bios, that's what I asked her to do, to try to get a little background, how did they start in their various disciplines? Did they have inspiration from their parents before them, whatever family member? And also, I suppose their achievements. We also looked at their achievements, if they have gotten any awards for their hard work and so forth. So I'm hoping that once persons read it, they would get a bit of information about each individual, and it would inspire somebody to start a business. Don't be afraid just because you're in Saint Lucia, These days the world is like they say, it's a global village, you understand? So you can stay here and you can create artwork, and it can end up all over the world.
Mrs. Greaves Francis expressed her contentment with the finished product.
In creating it, what I decided to do is to give everybody a personal touch. So each page, when you review the book, you will see has a personal touch of each person's, let's say, work, each person's history, their contribution, and so forth. And visually, I tried to create a piece that is unique to every individual as well.
The project was funded by UNESCO through the Saint Lucia National Commission for UNESCO in the amount of US $23,000. A total of 300 copies of the book have been printed. The books are expected to be distributed through the public and private school system to be used as reference and research material for students. Acting Director of Gender Relations, Janie Joseph, applauded the efforts of Mrs. Greaves Francis and UNESCO for choosing to highlight women in the field of arts.
Many of the arts, such as culinary arts, dance, and even arts education, tended to be largely unpaid. It is therefore very encouraging to see as many women in the publication sustaining their lives through culinary arts, dance, and arts education as those in architecture, interior design, and decorating. It demonstrates a shift from unpaid activity into paid activity. It is a very small step, but a significant one, as the economic autonomy of women was not always perceived as a right.
The publication was launched at the GIS Studios on Friday, January 31st, 2020. From the Government Information Service, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
In a continued effort to protect the environment, the National Conservation Authority encourages the general public to carry their waste when they are leaving the beach, stop the disposal of dead animals on the beaches, stop the disposal of household waste on the beaches, and seek the necessary approval from the NCA when considering vending or hosting an activity on any beach. If you require further information or clarification, you can visit the office at number 9 Colony House, John Compton Highway, Castries, or call 459-0278 or email at nca@govt.lc. And do stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
The Ministry of Tourism is working alongside the Department of Statistics to develop Saint Lucia's Tourism Satellite Account, TSA. The Tourism Satellite Account is an internationally established method of measuring the direct contributions of tourism to our national economy. This will help the government in developing effective policy for the industry. If you are in the business of tourism, the ministry needs your help in collecting critical data necessary for this tourism satellite account. Let's all help to develop and improve our economy. All tourism-related establishments are asked to contact the ministry at 468-5393 before Friday, the 28th of February for further information specific to their business.
Welcome back. And here's a look at what's happening to us weather-wise.
Fair to partly cloudy and hazy skies with a few showers. The Atlantic high-pressure system will continue to generate light to moderate easterly winds across the eastern Caribbean region over the next few days. An area of Saharan dust haze will continue to cause a reduction in visibility over the region for the next couple of days. The lower atmosphere over the Lesser Antilles will remain relatively dry and stable, and as a result, generally fair conditions are expected over most of the islands during the next 24 hours. The tide for Castries Harbour was low at 5:47 p.m. and will be high again at 12:37 a.m. The tide for Vieux-Fort Bay was low at 7:14 p.m. and will be high again at 1:44 a.m. The seas, moderate waves and swells 4 to 6 feet or 1.2 to 1.8 meters. The sun will rise Tuesday at 6:31 a.m.
And that brings us to the end of the NTN Nightly. Join us next time at 7 p.m. with a repeat at 7 a.m. You can also catch up with us anytime on the Saint Lucia Government Facebook page or YouTube channel. I'm Nisha Charles.